All right, so as Donald Trump wrapped up his visit to China, the U.S. president claimed that he and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping saw eye to eye on the question of Iran. Trump further claimed that they have agreed that Tehran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon and it must reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
We did discuss Iran. We feel very similar to Iran. We want that to end. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We want the straits open. We're closing it now. They closed it, then we closed it on top of them. But we want the straits open, and we want them to get it ended because it's a crazy thing. They're a little bit crazy, and it's no good. Can't have it. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The President Xi did not comment on his discussions with Trump about Iran, although China's foreign ministry has issued a pretty blunt statement outlining Beijing's frustration over the Iran war by the Americans and the Israelis. It has also called for the opening of the vital shipping lanes, including the Strait of Hormuz. And after talks between Trump and Xi on Thursday, the White House said that the leaders had agreed that the strait should be open and that Xi had made it clear over China's opposition to the militarization of the Strait of Hormuz. But the Chinese statement, however, interestingly, does not mention anything about militarization or even about Iran's nuclear ambitions. The statement reads, and I quote here, "This conflict, which should have never happened, has no reason to continue." It also has called for a lasting ceasefire in West Asia and has demanded for the reopening of the key shipping lanes as soon as possible. And earlier, talking to Fox News, Trump had warned that he is not going to be much more patient and Iran, according to him, should make a deal. Trump had claimed that President Xi Jinping had offered China's help to open the Strait of Hormuz and had pledged not to send military equipment to aid Iran.
President Xi would like to see a deal made. He would like to see a deal made. And he did offer, he said, if I can be of any help at all, I would like to be of help. Because,
he did say that.
Yeah, he did say that. And look, anybody that buys that much oil has obviously got some kind of a relationship with him. But he said, I would love to be of help. If I can be of any help whatsoever, he'd like to see the Hormuz Strait open. He said, if I could be of any help whatsoever, I would like to help.
But Trump's Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, struck a slightly different tone. He told NBC News that the United States is not asking China for help with the situation in West Asia.
The Chinese side said they are not in favor of militarizing the Straits of Hormuz and they're not in favor of a tolling system. And that's our position.
In peacetime, the Strait of Hormuz accounts for roughly about a fifth of the global oil and liquefied natural gas shipments, along with other key commodities. And Iran's Revolutionary Guards said on Thursday that the naval forces had allowed a number of Chinese ships to pass through the strategic strait. And we earlier spoke with Mr. Greg Swenson. He's an international affairs expert and also a China analyst. Listen to what he had to say.
The four cards that President Trump has to play, he still has them. He still has the ability to block the blockade, the Iran, and as well as the Strait, and he has the military power to resume the military or the kinetic action, and other cards or tricks up his sleeve. So he could be patient because if it's only a matter of time before Iran has to shut down their oil production because they have run out of storage. So I think the U.S. still has the cards to play. You have a bit of saber rattling from Xi, but and from the regime as well. But it's just that, it's just bluster, and so the cards are still with the U.S.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.